Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friend Han here, and it is absolutely great to see you here this afternoon. And today I'm very, very excited to invite Leah here to teach us more about list building, to about email marketing as well. And Leah is a really, really cool copywriter, so she's going to teach you some ninja tricks here. So be very, very exciting about this. And in this interview, be even more excited about it is Leah is going to introduce a brand new tool that's really going to help you perhaps build your very own very first list, and or increase your conversion rate on your Optin page. Okay, all right. So she's going to show that a little awesome tool that you can grab for very, very affordable price investment. Okay, all right. So be very exciting about that. Before we get into this excitement here, let's kind of learn how Leah got started with internet marketing, but most importantly, what did she do exactly to achieve a level of success that she has today? So Leah, could you kind of take over the mic, share your unique internet marketing story with us today?
Certainly can. Thanks very much for having me, Han. So I first started looking at internet marketing because I wanted to find a way to boost my own website's positioning. And I actually had a business, an offline business as we call it, working very much in coaching and working with business people and salespeople and so on. But what I found was that there was it was quite difficult to actually get started, and then I learned about affiliate marketing, and I wanted to start introducing that to my websites as a kind of side earner, if you like. And I didn't know how to get the traffic, I didn't know how to install plugins, I didn't know how to do anything. So I went from knowing absolutely nothing to actually then completely transforming my business from what I used to do, coaching, to becoming a software creator and copywriter and doing all that sort of thing. But the great segue was that as it was psychological, everything that I did in the past, that is brilliant, of course. It's brilliant background for marketing and copywriting, and even for designing and coming up with new ideas for products, because I always look at things from why would that work? How is that going to affect people? Why is it going to influence them to do what we want them to do? Because at the end of the day, we all want them to buy things and convert to prospects, become subscribers, and so on. So that's kind of how I ended up doing what I do.
Okay, great. So it's you have a very, very unique background, and to knowing what you're knowing today, what would it be top advice you would give it to someone who's just starting out with internet marketing, perhaps hasn't find the focus, what to focus on, whether offline, Facebook, video, or whatever, or building an email marketing list? Or what would it be your top 3 advice give it to someone who's just starting out with internet marketing?
Well, the first thing I would say is focus. Focus in on something that you like. Literally become tunnel vision, and you've got to learn the basics about getting a website built. WordPress is, of course, brilliant for that. It's easy, it's cheap, and there's lots and lots of training everywhere for that. and not actually, it's free, and there's lots of extra add-ons, plugins, which will add all sorts of different features to whatever your particular niche or business is. So I always recommend start with something you like, because if you pick on a niche that you're not interested in at all, it's going to be a chore to work in. And then the key, everyone says this, but you don't. I think most people I know took 2 years to really realize it, and that includes all of the top gurus and the big guys who've been around for years and years and years, is build a list. So whatever niche you're focusing in, start building a list, start doing that as soon as possible, because they literally are like gold. And I actually, one of the things that inspired some of the content on the copy for a product we're releasing very soon is because I met someone who had become a 7-figure marketer, so who's a millionaire, doing incredibly well, and he's got lots of lovely assets, houses, cars, you name it, and everything was kind of pulled out from underneath him overnight, pretty much. It was quite an amazing story and an emotional story when I first met him, and he shared that with me. But the thing that I took from that was the fact that his list enabled him to start again and to build up very, very rapidly to becoming very wealthy once more.
And it's very interesting, and that people who has achieved 7 figures or high achievers, it's really, really easy for them to start over, right? I mean, you hear that kind of story over and over again, and I think it's the experience, it's the connections, it's the list, it's the everything else that learn from the journey from zero to seven figures, and that all adds up together. So next time you do it, it's going to be much easier. And so
Yeah.
you hear people go to bankruptcy, then bam, coming back on the next month or next year, probably even better and stronger. So that's inspirational by itself. So that's all great and stuff. So let's talk about my advice to my people is, again, as soon as you start internet marketing, figure out some way somehow to get your list started, because it's going to really benefit you for very, very long term. And so let's talk about email list building. Let's talk about why building a list is such an important thing as far as a internet marketer goes. I don't really care if you're an offline marketer. I don't care if you're online marketer. Anything you do with the internet marketing, you need to have a list. Let's talk about some of the reason why that is.
Well, they are your prospects. They start out as prospects and they become customers if your list building or your email marketing techniques are positive, and it's all about building relationships with people, not just firing promotion after promotion after promotion. Explain why something might be useful. Talk to them about news in the niche that you're focusing in, and develop that sort of the level of authority that you need to have so that they trust you. And when you do mail them, then they're actually going to take some action. So whether the action is to check out a service that you're actually promoting, or whether it's a product that you've created yourself, or whether it's a product you're actually promoting for someone else, those are all ways that we make money online. And that is, I would say, it's the nuts and bolts of internet marketing. It's the kind of core of what we're all aiming to do. And so by focusing on doing something like that, by focusing on building a list and building it in a niche and getting used to how you do that and making money doing that, your list becomes your asset. It's the biggest asset you can possibly have, because there's a way of actually working out how much each person on your list is worth. It's a bit of a mathematical equation that we don't really need to talk about now, but I
think it's called customer lifetime value, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and then their software does all that for you, by the way. So if you're not a mathematical genius, you don't worry about that. That's build a list and worry about those things later. I mean, they do become important, but if you don't have lists, get it built first. And what I love about list building is, if you think of the traditional way, especially if you're just starting out with a list build with internet marketing, if you're not focused on list building yet, you lose that traffic as soon as they hit your web page, and if they don't do anything about it, or if they do something, they buy something, or if they don't do something, in either case, you lose that traffic. You don't somehow capture it. Now, once you capture that, that becomes your asset, because you can continuously, communicating with them, build that bond, build that relationship, and helping them to become successful. So you'll be successful along with them as well. So it's powerful stuff. So if you're afraid of a Google slap, if you're afraid of Facebook slap, what is the solution to that? If you step back and think about, you gotta be successful at internet marketing, you gotta kind of focus on two things. That is traffic, and that is conversions, right? And once you master those two, you pretty much got you gotta figure out something to sell, and you pretty much started making money. But how do you control your traffic? What is the only way you can 100% sure you control the traffic? Can you really 100% rely on Facebook or Google? The answer is not. They can slap you anytime. But what if you have your very own email list? Can you control that? The answer is yes, right? So because you can, blasting out your traffic. Because that's why I love about email marketing, and why I think it's very, very important everyone should have an email list, just for the sheer fact that you have so much control of traffic, when to send it, how to send it, and especially have the chance to continuously building that relationship.
Because also the other thing that having a list does is it improves your rank, because you keep sending your list back to your site, intermediate. If you're sending them to an offer one time, you can send them to your site the next time. It's these constant spikes in traffic are what interest Google. Google will actually promote pages for those reasons. So it is actually another way of improving traffic and search engine optimization.
Yeah, in fact, I know that's what 6, 7 figure marketer do. They have authority blocks. Every time they post a blog, guess what? They email the email list to go back to
Yeah,
that same post, and therefore that's why they become authority block. Because in Google's eyes, they think, it doesn't matter. Google doesn't count like just the new people. They count the repeat people as traffic too. So
yeah.
over time, your list's gonna get bigger because those old your existing readers gonna helping you build your website traffic up as well and build your list up. So they're gonna Google's gonna see this trend of increasing traffic, then it's gonna automatically naturally push your website up. It's the same as Facebook newsfeed as well. It's the same concept, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the old-fashioned method for trying to attract people to opt in is what's become jaded. People, they don't want to give their email address, their name, and any other information. They see it kind of everywhere now. It's pretty much on every single web page on the internet, and including on some social media as well. So people are reluctant now to hand that over to too many people. In the old days, about 2 years ago, it would be something less frequently seen, and so they might not think too much about it and just give their information over because there's something offered and they want that something. But now we've as is why internet marketing is a trending niche that so many other businesses follow. I mean, I've got some big businesses on my email list, and so I've seen their names in, and I'm like, wow, they're on my email list because they want to see what products we're coming up with next. So they work for some of the big companies, some of the big stores and other businesses online. And it's because we are innovative. As internet marketers, we're very innovative. We're constantly trying to come up with new things that are going to solve problems. So the big problem of nobody wants to give you their email address, we started thinking about how we could solve that when we saw what lead pages do, because lead pages is a very well-known hosted solution. So you have to pay for that each month and so on. But we thought, well, it's so appealing, the idea of just clicking on a button. The button is your call to action. You don't think about it. It's just something there. It's asking you to do something. You take the action, then you fill out a form, then you add your email address. And of course, what Giovanna and I were talking about is how there's a commitment made, and this is where the psychology comes in. Is as soon as somebody makes a commitment, they are already invested in doing something. So they click that button, the call to action, then a form appears saying, can I have your email address? And that's why the conversions are so much higher, because they're already committed. So they don't think then about changing their mind or opting out. They go ahead and add their email address, and that's it. That's why the conversions go up. But of course, there isn't anything like that for WordPress. So that's what we thought. Well, it's a bit of a nuisance trying to code something, and then you've got graphics and for the forms and all these sorts of things. We looked at all the different things that we'd have to do to try and add something like that to our own websites to increase our own subscribers, because we were working hard on our blogs and getting traffic, but not getting as many opt-ins as we were hoping for. So that's when obviously the idea of turning that into a plugin seemed like a very, very good one, because there just wasn't anything like it that we could actually tap into. So that's where Optin Tango, as it's now known, was born.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the story a little bit in here a little bit. I got a couple more questions to ask you. So you basically just introduced this new concept of what I call two-step opt-ins, and somebody who's watching this might think, hey, why the heck do I need a two-step opt-in? I mean, it's already so difficult to get one-step opt-in, and then sometimes I don't even including the names, just ask for email address to get opt-in. So talk about the psychological trigger, why two-step opt-in is actually more effective and than the traditional just one-step opt-in works. Let's talk about the psychological trigger here.
Well, initially it is because it's unfamiliar. So that's one of the psychological triggers, because we call that a pattern interrupt. When something's different from what they're used to seeing, then people have an intrigue. They're interested in what it is that you're about to do, what's going to happen next. So there's a button there. It's asking them to do something, and they're more likely and motivated to go ahead and do it because there's nothing else happening. Just click this button, and that's all they're being asked to do. And sometimes they're doing it for a reward because they're going to get something on the other end of that. And sometimes it's because they're going to another page. It could be a variety of reasons. But when they then see a form appear, and the form is graphically attractive, it kind of pops out of the page so that it looks a bit different. And that's when you start to have, as we've done with Optin Tango, is we've got this second step. So the second step is when they're already ready to commit to take action. And there's far less chance of them actually interrupting that process. And that's why the conversions are so much higher. So on average, 30 to 40% are seen, rising all the way up to 300% on some niches. That's what our experts have actually fed back to us that the 2 steps are doing for marketers.
Right, and I think one of them is Adam. I think some of the people watching this already know him. He's a testing nut. I mean, the guy tests everything. A little font to opt-in buttons, and he tests every single little things. And you gave him a kind of using him as guinea pig to test it out if this works, and he came back with some awesome numbers, right?
Yep, absolutely. There's Adam Nolan is one of the experts that we spoke to, and we spoke to AJ Silver's another expert. They both work in different ways, but they're doing the same thing. They, as you said, they are split testing nuts. And as far as they're concerned, the only way to run a business is to split test everything, starting with the entry way. So where do people arrive? What are they seeing? What's the wording? And what are the buttons looking like? What are the colours of the buttons, etc., etc. There's so many different factors. And things that can change the opt-in rates are change a graphic, change a headline, change the words you use on the button, and so on and so on and so on. But he found just implementing 2 steps instead of the old-fashioned one increased opt-ins radically. And AJ Silvers saw in one of the niches that he works in, because he works in not just internet marketing, he works outside of internet marketing as well, health niches, you can imagine there's so many different niches. Dating niche is another very popular one. And he saw 300% increase for one of his customers using 2 steps. So they introduced 2 steps instead of 1, and that was the result. So it can consistently for both of those 2 experts and other expert friends of ours who split test everything. I'm talking about some of the guys who've been around for 10 years in internet marketing. Their sales pages and squeeze pages don't just get dumped and hope for the best. They test and check everything, and they also find that the 2 steps are radically better and much more effective than the old-fashioned asking for an email address first and foremost. So it's a pattern interrupt. It's about consistency. And it's about people being intrigued as to what's going to happen next. So curiosity is another one of the factors. And I don't know if your audience know of Cialdini, but he is very well known for inspiring a lot of marketers to change some of the things that they used to do from a psychological perspective, because marketing is all about psychology, whether we like to admit it or not. It is. It's all about understanding your demographic, your customer prospect, and knowing how to influence them. And so the thing about Cialdini is he had 6 points, and most of those points are actually covered by the 2 steps. It's interesting to see how they all kind of, you can tick each one of those and say, yeah, that's being dealt with, that's being dealt with, that's involved, that's happening. So that's why it's such an influential process. Such a simple thing. It's a simple thing, but it is very, very influential.
All right, so let's talk about the effective way. Let's say, imagine someone, bought the Optin Tango when this thing launches, and by the way, you should. And what is the most effective way to set this up? For example, what should you put on the first step page, and what should you put on the second step page, and maybe also where should you position this kind of buttons on your blogs, on your pages to make it more effective? Talk about, give us some tips. What's the most effective way to using this awesome plugin here?
Well, because what it's creating is initially in the first step is a button. That's the most important thing that it's doing in the first step, is the button that is your call to action. And you can create that in any shape, any color, any style. And so again, that's one of the things that because the buttons are created by a wizard, you can test out all sorts of different styles, all sorts of different text, and you can have as many of those on your blog, because one of the other major features is its ability to self-optimize. So you could have 10 different buttons and forms all testing all at the same time, and the plugin will optimize whichever one converts the best. So you get the opportunity to have the testing being done for you, if you like. You haven't got to pay some split testing expert to do it, and you haven't got to keep going back and setting things up all the time. So what we recommend is that you think about what the page is doing, because obviously we're talking about websites, but you can also use the buttons on standalone pages. So that means if you're creating your own HTML page, you can actually take the code, add the button, and create a squeeze page. But say it's your blog, say it's on the blog, then wherever you're writing something of influence, you can then introduce one of the buttons. I mean, you can add the buttons anywhere. Obviously, we recommend don't overdo it, because then the pattern's not interrupted anymore. It's going to get boring.
Regular buttons.
Yeah. So putting the button somewhere where there's something really important happening on the page. So sometimes it's going to be right at the end of the article. It's a very interesting article. Would you like to know more? Might be your call to action. Or it could be, there's a video that goes along with this article. So would you like to see the video? And that could be the call to action. So as long as it's complementary to whatever it is that your page is on that particular blog post article on your site, then that's where you put a call to action. You can put call to action in the sidebar, so very standard way of actually getting people to be attracted. And actually, I spoke to a marketer earlier today who was saying that he changed his over to a button format a couple of months ago, and he's already seeing that that's made a huge difference to how many people are actually choosing to take action and opt in. Whereas before, with a standard form, again, it was people go blind to that. We call it opt-in form blindness. We use the word banner blindness sometimes. Things that we become so used to, we don't see them anymore. So that's how we recommend actually using it. But as I say, what is also very important about this plugin is because you can create the buttons and take a code that you can place anywhere, even on a server that's not yours. You could put it on a completely different server, on an HTML page or a squeeze page of some sort. And that's what you've got then. You've actually got, put your little graphic of whatever it is you're inviting people to get, or a video that you're, telling them about, a headline, and then the button. And there's nothing else on that page. If it's a squeeze page, it's just the basics. Just those 3 factors are really important. What is the headline? What is the offering? And here's the button. And that's also shown to increase opt-ins enormously. So as I say, you can use it that way, which is obviously very, very is proven. It's great. It works. It's brilliant. Or you can use it, as we're looking forward to seeing people really doing, all over their blogs, and getting more opt-ins that way.
So let me ask you, maybe take this one level down. So in your professional copywriting opinion, is having a eye-catching headline, maybe call to the pain that everybody's trying to solve, or something pleasant, then list the bullet points of a benefit, then have a button. Is that the kind of format you want to have on your first page?
Well, squeeze pages take different formats depending on, again, what it is you're offering and what sort of people you're actually sending there. So what kind of traffic are you sending to that? Sometimes the headline will literally be a call to the person who it's relating to. So it won't necessarily be negative, the problem. It might sometimes be saying, this is how you can lose weight in 10 days. Because in a way, that's kind of highlighting what the problem is, but it's also talking to the person who has a desire to do something. So here's how you're going to do that. And then you could have an image of a video that's going to tell them how to do that, but it's only an image. In order to watch the video, they've got to click the button that says, watch this video now, or get access to this video now. And then when they click on, they've got to add their email address, and they're going to be, but on the form, you see, you can edit the text on the form, so you can at that point then tell them, remind them, you're about to watch this video, all you need to do is give us your email address and we're going to send that directly to you. Or on the next page, you'll watch the video, depending on how you set up your form.
Hmm. I think that the reason I think the two-step opt-in works better is because in any kind of selling, especially selling high-ticket items, you want to get the small commitment first from the potential prospect, and this is exactly what the two option form essentially does. You kind of pre-qualify the people on the first page, and once they really want it, at that point they have that small a commitment already by clicking the first button. Then when they get to the second page, they're that's going to more happily to figure out the name and email address or whatever the information you request from them, because they already made that very, very small commitment. Say, hey, I want this, but he also does a filter a feature here as well, that people that are not interested in this, they're not going to click that first button, then that's not a customer you want to track anyway. So
yeah,
right, so
yeah, exactly.
okay, so let's talk about, give us a little bit backstory. How did you guys come up with the idea, and what kind of, maybe what was there a problem you guys trying to solve when you're trying to building this plugin? Give us a little bit background story on this plugin.
Yeah, it was that we were looking at building squeeze pages, but also we started talking about how it was really cool that if you did use lead pages or one of those sorts of systems, that you did have the option for this button followed by the action that you're going to take, adding in the email address. And we were talking about how could we get that to start working on our blog so that we could increase our conversions on that base, camp, if you like, base camp, that we could actually encourage more people. For example, if we were just doing a promotion for a particular product in a niche, so it could be an offline niche, or it might be an Amazon niche, it might be a list building niche, we wanted to be in a position where we could add a button that just said learn more about this, or get news on the next product or the next article or whatever relating to that particular topic. And we only wanted to have a button. So we've got buttons, we had some buttons made by one of our graphic designers, but then it was a case of, then what do you do? Now you've got to somehow configure this button to work with a form, and then you've got to create a page and build a form, and it was just becoming so problematic. So the great idea was starting to become a bit stressful. And we did talk about getting our graphic designer to create some forms and make all sorts of different ones for different niches and so on and so on and so on. And in the end, that's when we decided, look, come on, why don't we just see if we can't get a plugin developed with all of these features? And actually, if we're doing a plugin, we can start making it do some really cool things like tracking, stats, and so on and so on. And the auto optimization feature, where it's split testing. The plugin itself does the split testing based on your settings, and then when it's found within the period that you've decided that, yep, it's all cool, this one's working, form 1 is your most successful form, it will automatically then optimize that. That one's the one that's going to start showing and featuring wherever that code's placed. So those things came later. When we started, it was literally just the case that we wanted to be able to use a button because we knew that worked, and we wanted to be able to show people a form secondly. But we didn't want all the hassle that goes along with trying to code that and develop that and mess about with it. So that's where your plugin is born, as many plugins are.
So would you have a couple of minutes, maybe kind of show us this awesome plugin, give us a little sneak preview?
Indeed. So I need to just, I've got to click on that and click on that, and then can you see my screen?
Give me 1 second. Oh, now I can. It was a little bit delayed. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, cool. So I'll just, very quickly, I'll just show you, where is it? Oh, I can't remember which one of these tabs it is now. Somewhere along here. These are just examples of where people are doing things like this. So this is AppSumo. A lot of people have heard of AppSumo. This is Copyblogger, and they just have a button here. So there's lots of different ways that these techniques, the 2 steps, are being used. Here's just a very basic one. I just kind of quickly did this earlier, just to show you what it's going to look like. Now that could be any shape, any size, any color, and it could also have any text, and the text could be any color. So that's just showing you what it will do. That's the second step. So the first step is that call to action. The second step is the form that's going to appear, which is all configurable, and that's where the person's going to be asked to enter their email address. So what we recommend is obviously that these buttons are going to be positioned on your site where there's something influential and important happening. So it could be a really fabulous article about something, and then you offer people an opportunity to get more, or to watch a video, or so whatever it is you're intending to do. So let's have a... Sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. So if we start with the dashboard, now my page doesn't want to load.
There you go. Yeah, I think it's the Hangout take all the bandwidth, maybe.
Hangout's ruining my demonstration. Oh, now, what are you doing? Hold on, let's go back.
It was working.
It was working. Why is it doing that? Oh, Lord. Trying.
I can hit to that web page. Maybe your server's down.
My server's brilliant. Well, look.
007.5, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can hit it. Yeah, it looks fine. Very fast.
Yeah, wonder why it's doing this. Do you think it could be the Hangout? Worked before.
I'm on Hangout. You want to try another browser?
Oh, that will definitely crash.
Never mind that.
Oh, well, we had it on screen 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. By the way, I can edit all this out. You know what? I can hit that WP login page very fast. It just loads for me. Maybe try Control F5. Maybe something stuck.
I can hear it.
Welcome to VoiceOver.
Oh, what the hell is that?
VoiceOver speaks descriptions of items.
Because you hit a Control F.
Does that work on a Mac?
Yeah, that's how it works. I got a Mac. Hold on, let me test. Using Safari. It loads just for me, by the way. Weird. There's not server issue. Don't worry, I can edit all this out, no problem. Yeah, it loads like right away. You want to maybe quit Safari and try it again? Maybe that will clean stuff out a little bit.
But then I'll lose you.
Oh, yeah.
Let me do that.
It's weird because it loads like very super fast on my end.
Yeah, it's a brilliant server. I'm just wondering if it's locked me out because one of my assistants has been in the...
That I don't know. Yeah, access.
No. No.
If you ever lose me, just collect that same link I gave it to you. You'll be rejoining me again.
Right, let me see if Chrome will work.
Let me take this off.
Oh, hey.
There you go. Huh.
Oops. Where did that go?
Right there. Oh no, that's the Lori. Never mind.
looks like it may well have locked me out.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue recording the question part about the product, and what you're gonna do is you're probably gonna record a video for me and just send that video over, and I'm kind of editing to it. That's all I can think of right now.
Yeah.
Just do the demo section when we get off the interview, and then just send me that short clip, and I'll just add to it. That's the only thing I can think of right now. All right. So I'm gonna. So let's talk about the offer itself right now, and got a couple of questions for you. So let's talk about the name of the product, time of the launch, and who's going to really benefit for getting this.
Well, it's called Optin Tango because it's a two-step, which was something that a quite a well-known marketer recommended we call it, and we agree. It's launching on Friday at 11 a.m. So that's Friday, 13th of June at 11 a.m.
Friday the 13th.
I know, yay. Well, 13th is my birthday, so I always choose to believe that it's a lucky day. And we are selling it at a very low price on the front end for $17. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's going to stick at for the first 24 hours.
Okay.
We're not going to shift that price at all, and that's including full multi-site license, because we know that nobody has just one site, so we didn't think there was a lot of point in offering a different price for that. So we've got $17 for the full multi-site license for that first 24 hours.
Okay. And before we move on, I think you kind of skip a question. Who's going to be really benefit for getting this?
Well, everyone who's in marketing, really. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. If you don't already have a list, then you need to start thinking about building one. It is the biggest asset that you will ever have in your business. It is one of the most significant, the most important. If you're a WordPress user, then it's a really, really important tool to add to your arsenal of things that you use.
Okay, great. So the front end, so they're gonna get for $17, only $17 for investment. They're gonna get a multi-license, which is a huge benefit because most people only give you that upsell stuff, but you got rid of that. So you got multi-license. You gotta use unlimited site of your own. And what exactly are they getting inside? Just the plugin itself, or is it training, or what's involved?
Well, they're going to get they will get all the tutorials in exactly how to set up and use the plugin to make the best use of it, and then we have we've got the Pro version, which is an upsell, and what we've done, instead of having to have two plugins, because it does offer different elements, if you like, we're adding in blog boxes. Now, blog boxes are little forms that sit at the bottom of your blog and are a bigger call to action, if you like, because you can have little graphics in there. You can actually show a free report or something along those lines. So it's using the two steps as normal, but it's actually going to be starting out with this little blog box that's there's just a bigger kind of graphic, if you like, and there's a lot of those to choose from as well in the plugin. And the other thing that we've added in there is question forms. Now, the thing I love about the question forms is most people watching this will probably have been on a site somewhere where they've been asked a question, and they might have been asked, blue or green, or they might have been asked a yes or a no. And what this gives you the opportunity to do is to actually filter the people choosing, depending on what answer they click on, you can send them off in a different direction. They can land on a different page, or go into a different funnel, if you like, because they're actually answering something. So that's filtering out your prospects even more. Those who are really committed to getting the blue, and those who are really much keener on getting the green. Those who want to lose weight, those who want to tone up, those who want to get into the offline market, those who are interested in online, whatever different sort of questions you might want to ask people, the question forms offer the opportunity to be able to filter down your prospects even more. So those features are all added into the plugin so that you don't have to install both the front end version and then the Pro version, because we don't want to make life difficult for people. We've combined those for the Pro version so that you get all of the features that you've already purchased, and then you get the additional features added on top of that in the Pro version.
In the Pro version. So is the Pro version an upsell? Or is it a part of the front end sell? Just want to be clear.
It's an upsell, so you won't see that unless you decide you want to buy the main.
Okay.
Because the main product is the 2 steps. That is the real product. But we wanted to, add in extra features and so on and build out the product. But obviously, that would be too. Well, we wouldn't be able to offer that for $17.
Right. So,
a lot more stuff goes into that.
So what's the price for the Pro version? If by the way, you should get the Pro version because it's I'll let you talk about the small investment here.
Yeah, well, it's only $27, so it's a very small investment given what it is. Again, multi-site license is already included in that, and like you've said, quite often people actually charge a real premium price for adding a multi-site license, or they'll even offer that as an upsell on its own. Mm-hmm. So we're including the multi-site license and the all the lovely features that are then combined to make the Pro version. It's really very, very good product.
Right. So is that the only OTO you have, or do you have more?
Well, actually, no, because Joe and I talked about what if somebody's really serious about their business, then they might have lots and lots and lots of different sites. They might want to have lots and more options for the graphics that we're including. So we've actually got a graphics solution on the OTO 2, as we call it. And what we've done is we're offering on that page an entire year's graphics for half the price that they would pay if they were paying monthly. Mm-hmm. Because we know that some people, like I say, would really find that very appealing. Now, Russell, the developer, Russell Hudson, he's absolutely brilliant. He's a bit of a, he's a geek, isn't he? He's like all the great developers out there. He's just so happy to kind of listen to people's ideas and features and so on. And he came up with a way for people to literally just click a button inside the plugin. If they've opted for the graphics pack, they will be able to just download from there. So don't have to mess about too much to actually get hold of that each month. It will actually be presented to them, if you like. So yeah, that's another one of the cool things. He's also quite keen on other people giving him more ideas once they've actually started playing with the product. He's quite keen on hearing other things that they might want added.
Mm-hmm. And is that it, or do you have more?
Well, there's one more thing, but we haven't added that in the funnel. We want people just to sort of see what they see, and all those things complement each other. But when they arrive on the download page, if someone's interested in the developer license, there's another option there to upgrade to that license. Okay. Because it isn't something that everybody wants, but people who work in offline businesses, they might be interested in that, and those who want to. So, for example, one of the things we talked about is people are definitely going to find that they can optimize a site, increase conversions, get more traffic using our plugin. And if they then decide they want to sell that on Flipper, then they can do so with the plugin installed. So that's what we class as a developer license. They can install it on their client sites, and they can also sell a site with it on.
Right, and if you're offline marketer, you can definitely make this into a service and charge you monthly fee for it. So
yeah, because you can actually sell the service of optimization. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and the beauty is this plugin is already tracking the optimization for you. So all that tracking stuff. So literally, you don't do that much work, but you can charge a lot of fee for it. So and just one suggestion: you don't have to do this, but I think your previous product, the avatar product, you will go very well with this as well. So I don't know if you guys want to add that in as a part of the OTO. I think it will go great. But just a suggestion here. And if you guys seeing my video, that little girl always pops up, that's from her software. So they know about everything about the graphics. So you can be sure you're gonna get a professional design graphic here. So yeah. So so let's talk about. I think that's much all the questions I need to ask you here today, Leo. But one last question that's kind of very critical and very important. That is, as people watch this interview, they know it's very important to have their very own list, right? And they know how important it is to have lists built. Perhaps they're still struggling to get that first list, and to kind of, like you said, the traditional way, the opt-in rate is going down, so they're struggling to get the opt-in rate up. So they're very excited to get this product. They want to buy it at launching time, but everyone has that little negative voice on their back of the head says, no, don't do it, don't get this, don't buy this. you know. So my question to you is, Leah, what makes this plugin so unique that you're absolutely grabbing at launching time?
Because there isn't anything like it. There's no other WordPress plugin that does this, and it is a very unique. It is a pattern interrupt. It's something nobody's seen or done before on WordPress blogs, and we are offering it at an early bird price. So because we know it's going to be incredibly popular, think of some of the other products that, you know, first year round they sold, or whatever, second year round they're $297. We know that this is going to be a very popular product. And so obviously as it's optimized, as it's improved, then aside from existing customers, it's going to start becoming a lot more costly to buy. And we are holding the price for the first 24 hours. And for your customers, we've also got a bunch of list building bonuses. So they'll see those if they purchase through your link as well.
Okay, great, great. So just kind of stay tuned, watch for that. And before we go here today, Leo, do you have any final word of wisdom you'd like to share?
Oh, build a list. That's my words of wisdom. Build a list. If you haven't already started, please heed my words, because I didn't for the first 2 years, and I really wish I had.
I was pounding my head against the wall once I know how powerful list building was. I was like, I should start this from the beginning.
Yeah. If you want to pay your bills and you want to do it easily, build a list.
Exactly. So, all right. So you guys heard it. Build your list, taking actions, and all that great stuff. So, thanks again for watching this. And Leos, thank you so much for spending your time explaining this, introduce this new technique the big marketers using called the, I guess, a two-step options. And for those who are still watching this, make you stay tuned. Watch a very, very short demo so you know exactly how this thing works and all that great stuff. So. And watch out for my emails for my exclusive review and bonuses as well. All right, on that note, and Niels, thank you so much again for your time, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very, very soon.
Thank you very much, Han.
All right, cheers.
Bye.
Bye.